Roxana was an Ivy volunteer in 2022 for the Interreg project Shrek, and now she works as communication officer for the Interreg Northwest Europe. Thank you for being with us, Roxana. We have prepared some questions for you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So the first question for you. As you know, on 27th of June, we will officially launch the consultation on the future of Interreg for all current and former Ivy volunteers. Do you think it is important to involve young people's thoughts and view in shaping the future of territorial cooperation? And if so, why?
I believe that it's actually crucial to involve young people in these consultations. I think that for you it is very important as an Ivy organization because most of the volunteers have been part of this programming period and they know the beneficiaries, they know different stakeholders, they know priorities and projects. Me myself, I was involved in a beneficiary organization. Therefore, I knew what kind of stakeholders I was working with. But there are some Ivies that I met at the time that were working, for example, in programs. So they had a totally different overview of this experience. So I believe that it is very important for them to give their opinion because they know and they have a different perspective. And in general, I believe that young people, of course, it might be a very general or stereotype, but the younger generation are the future and actually the future professionals. So they will be probably involved in the territorial cooperation later on, be it in a program like I did. I just continued my professional background in territorial cooperation or as a beneficiary. Therefore, they have to have the choice to make a change on their own future and have this input.
Right. Thank you very much, Roxana, for sharing this. So my second question for you, since now you work for a program, I believe you are very familiar with the idea that Ivy volunteers now can also be hosted by programs, so to support specifically the consultation on the future of Interreg as well. So do you have any tips to share with current volunteers involved with the activities of the consultation?
Oh, yes. We are actually doing our own stakeholder consultation that we will be launching soon. And as a tip, first of all, you have to organize, you have to plan, whatever it be, surveys, focus groups, they have to be put on a schedule, in a chart, and you have to know who is responsible for what, and also take the time to analyze those answers. Next, don't forget to adapt your questions to your stakeholders in order for them to best understand what you want from them as information. And last, if you ever lose the motivation because you're focused on very little tasks, just remember the overall goal is to improve the territorial cooperation. So you actually want to have an impact. So whenever you lose that motivation when working for a program, just remember the bigger goal. I think this will help you.
Thank you so much, Roxana. I'm very sure that it's going to be very useful for our volunteers.
Thank you.
Okay, actually, I wanted to ask you one of the questions that we have on our consultation survey. And the question is, what is the most important novelty that you would like to see in the future Interreg funding period?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. For the new period, personally, as a novelty, in terms of content and priorities, I would really like to see social innovation being again an important priority, because as we saw with the COVID period, different people in different regions across Europe were suffering from the same problem. So it actually shows the importance of this topic as a new European territorial issue, and that could be actually, solved, or at least we can find solution to projects at cross-border level or even at interregional level. And the next, as a novelty, more specifically for stakeholders, I think what is important or what could be important is to see a novelty in the applications and in facilitating application for project, for example, for newcomers in the Interreg world, and how to actually attract them to applying to programs.
Right, that's very interesting as well. So one last question for you, which is more linked to your Ivy experience. So what is your best memory as an Ivy volunteer?
Oh, I think I have many memories from my IB period, but to say one of the most I think relevant ones is when I actually participated to your General Assembly in Serbia. It was actually so important to see other IB volunteers, and I was actually involved in a workshop on issues regarding cross-border youngsters and how to solve together these problems. And in moderating this workshop, I was given a voice. And I feel that when you do an internship, often you're not given a voice, you're not made important. And I feel that that day I felt important, and I felt that what I was doing, or I was having an impact, or at least driving a change at my level, of course. But I was doing something important. So I think it was something that might have had an impact on my now career.
Thank you so much, Roxana. I can only agree with your words. So thank you so much for sharing them with all our volunteers. It was a pleasure to have you with us today. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.